Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Remember, the body can shit. It can also be a lifestyle. Food can fix so many things. Lifestyle can, exercise can, the right thinking, in my opinion, is where it all starts. Got to get your thought life right. The way a person thinks determines who they are and what they become. So your thought life will determine your real life. Just remember that. Your thoughts become the life that you live. People think that's no big deal. It's a huge deal. That's how you turn out. You look at your thoughts, and I'll tell you where your life's going to be. Look at your goals, what you write down every single day. Hopefully you write your goals down on a regular basis. You got to put them in front of you all the time. If you don't, you'll end up somewhere where you don't even want to be. So you got to write those down. Goals are important. The way you think is important. The way you do things every single day, that matters. That's what lays out everything for your life. It's a big deal because our thoughts determine every single thing that we do. So on this show, we want to encourage you to get there. Let's get on the phones and talk to Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth.
I would like to know about possible causes of horizontal lines in your fingernails.
Okay. So the fingernail issue, it depends. Okay. The horizontal lines a lot of times can be an iron deficiency. But it also could be, if you've got kind of the horizontal ridges, the indentions, then that can be leading toward a heart-related condition. Also what's called clubbing of the nails, which is where they kind of get rounded. That is usually an indicator that something's going on with the heart. It's amazing because there's a whole kind of diagnostic set. The old school doctors, the family doctors way back in the day, like when I say way back in the day, it's kind of like Little House on the Prairie days. I did some family medicine in medical school in my clinicals, and I wanted to go out west. And I went out west to a training program for family medicine for a period of time, and it was really cool. I mean, it was I'm talking out in the middle of nowhere where you're the only doctor. I wanted to see what it's like to be the only doctor in like a 500-mile radius, like no hospitals. I mean, it was rural. I mean, big time, like in the sticks, as we say. It was amazing. I mean, the reason it was cool is because the diagnostic tools were so old school sometimes that these guys were using fingernails, the tongue, eyes, looking inside the eyes, not just for the regular things you do in medicine. I mean, they were finding all kinds of things. I learned a lot, needless to say. So the cool thing is about the fingernails is, it tells you a lot. So if you've got anything like that going on, I'd recommend a couple things to you for sure. So you want to get to your doctor and definitely get some testing done, blood test and further testing, right? So even if they consider the heart a potential, they can do some simple testing, right? They can run an EKG, they can do an echo, they can do whatever they need to do. They can run some labs. You want to get all that done because sometimes it just takes like a fingernail to say, hey, it's a warning sign that something's coming down the pipeline. And the one thing is you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait till things are bad. You don't want to wait till things are already broken down. You want to get way ahead of the game. So you get ahead of the game, and then you can build a good solid game plan around it. That's where you have to start. Okay, but the fingernail issue, it's usually iron or something to do with the heart typically. And just like, for example, if you got little puffy white spots, you ever seen the little white spots on your fingernails? It's a zinc deficiency, just about every single time. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. We're here for you each and every day, no matter what you're struggling with. There's a grandfather. This is a really cool story. There's a grandfather that plays a harp to help premature babies heal at the hospital. There's a place in Colorado called the Rocky Mountain Hospital for Children, and I've been by there. It's really, really a great place. So thanks to a doting grandfather who's performing many concerts to calm tiny babies who entered the world too early. So at the neonatal intensive care unit, baby Brianna hears a symphony of bells and beeps. This guy's pretty amazing. So he comes over there and he plays music for these babies. And there's actually something called music therapy. Okay, we've known that. music can do a host of things. It can get us all fired up. It can make us sad. But one thing it can do is it can calm. And the right melody and the right tunes for some, for people, it can really help. And for little bitty babies that are born prematurely, that can't really communicate, they can't really, they're just in a really fragile state, music can be extremely soothing to them. And that happens to babies in the womb, too. You can notice a difference in their brain activity and everything with their external environment. And we've known music can really help in a big way. So this grandfather comes in, this guy, amazing at what he does, comes in and plays. So James Excel is his name, plays a harp. And just hats off to the guy. It's amazing, right? What a gift that he's given those little babies, and really a gift he's given the hospital. And I'm sure they don't pay him. I'm sure he comes in there to volunteer his time. But it's a real gift when people do that sort of thing. It makes a huge impact. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Kevin in Miami says, I have a recurring nerve pain following a root canal, and it comes and goes. It can be really painful, like an electric current. No one seems to know what I can do about it. So they tell me it's really never going to, that it will go away in time. It's been a long time. What can I do? A couple things you want to look at. Again, this is one of those things where you're dealing with a nerve. So when you're dealing with a nerve, in talking to a neurologist or working with someone like that, I would look into someone that does more holistic neurology and see if you can find a really great tool to work with that. Now, when a nerve gets irritated along those lines, you've got to think, what's causing the inflammation? Like, that's kind of the root of it, is to figure that out. You want to figure out what's causing the inflammation, what's the trigger for it, and then you can build a game plan around it. But first, you got to figure that out, because with something along these lines, you've got to think about what's causing it to break down. Okay, nutrients, certain things like omega-3 fatty acids could be the cause. You could not have enough of the myelin around the nerve, which is kind of that protective coating. So you have to look at all these different variables and see. But many times with a tooth like that, ask your doctor if they've even heard of using ionic silver. It's a different version of silver, and that can give some relief. And you also got to make sure that there's not some infection in there that's underlying that's not been looked at. So there's a host of things you can do. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Coming up, we've got some anti-aging tips you don't want to miss. Plus, I want to get into tips on fat loss. What does it take to drop the belly fat? What does it take? What type of exercise does it really take to get in there and make a difference, to make an impact? Do you need to go for 2 hours at a time, or can you have a shorter version of that? I want to get into that and when we come back. And also, hang tight. We've got some other tips as well. Hi, this is Dr. Asa to talk to you about the world's best protein for longevity called Best Amino. Protein is essential for every cell in your body to function at its absolute best. Best Amino is the highest absorbable protein, more than meat, eggs, and dairy, which may only absorb at 50, 60, or 70%. Best Amino is a proven formula of essential proteins that we all need, that absorbs at 99%. Visit bestamino.com. That's bestamino.com.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Let's kick off and go with Danielle. Hi, Danielle.
Muscle spasms. I'm a dialysis patient, and I have constant muscle spasms. Can you tell me what I do about it?
You really want to get it looked at, because when you're having dialysis, one of the key issues you face in that is that you can really deplete your minerals. And if your diet is not that good with the right kind of minerals that you're getting in, like magnesium, potassium, and all that, and again, you got to be careful with potassium, but one of the big issues, and the cramping usually happens because of that, because you have to be cautious with minerals. Okay, so it's kind of a catch-22. But I would talk to your doctor about magnesium and just see at what levels they're comfortable with, okay? Like what foods they're okay with you eating, because that typically tends to be a big one when the cramping sets in, is magnesium. It's just a huge one. I mean, it's responsible for over 300 reactions in the body, and we're heavily deficient in it. We don't get enough. We need to get more of it, and we just don't. So I would look at that first and foremost to make sure that you're getting enough, and have them take a look and just look at the numbers overall. Because if not, again, certain levels have to be what they are because it's dialysis and it's kidney function. But then they can do some other things to help, but you want to get to the root of it. And 9 times out of 10, when you start cramping, it's a mineral. I mean, it's just the body's not getting something that it needs. Cramping is pretty much a gold standard that way. So I would definitely go to your nephrologist and ask them to maybe even run a blood test, do urine, something, whatever they're going to use to help figure out exactly what could be deficient, and then that'll give you a good game plan from there. Okay, 888-283-7272. And we can find someone in your area. And when you're looking at lifestyle providers, you want to find someone that can help you, someone that can really take you to the next level with your health and with your life. That's the key. So how do you know if your kids are ready for contacts? You ever think about that? You just wait till they start walking into things, or they can't see, or they can't read. So there's thoughts on that, and of course, many times kids have different variables. A lot of times you'll start noticing little things, and it's the little bitty things like when they're playing sports. You'll notice that maybe they can't see as well, or if you know if they start playing any kind of doing any kind of activity and they're squinting a lot, you just may notice little things. The best way to do this is to go in to get their regular eye exam. So here's a couple of things you can look at. Is your child responsible enough to wash their hands before touching their eyes and the contacts? So that, again, if they're going to wear them, because the question is, do you wear contacts or do you get glasses? And at what age, that sort of thing. It really just depends on the child. It depends on the child. It depends on their responsibility level and those sorts of things. Because they can be, the contacts can be a little bit cumbersome and can be a little bit challenging. So here's some of the basics. First, you want to get the eye exam. Okay, I'm big on that. Get the eye exam done on an annual basis to make sure everything's where it needs to be and there's no breakdown. Then, of course, the optometrist can start guiding you down these paths. But here's your questions you want to ask yourself if you want to do contacts or glasses. Number one, is your child responsible enough to wash their hands before touching their eyes and contacts? Okay, because that's a big one. You can have all kinds of issues happen if they don't have, their hands aren't clean, if they bring dirt, whatnot, into the contact lens itself. Dirt can get trapped underneath the contact lens, cause all kinds of issues with the eye. It can actually scratch the eye. It can be a real challenge. So will they remember to take them out at night? One thing you kind of a gold standard for most part is don't sleep in your contacts all the time, right? So are they responsible enough to place them at the right containers with the cleansing solution at night, and will they be able to put them in themselves? So those are some basics. Can you help them? Yeah, sure. But I always defer to the optometrist. Let them make that call and let them make that decision, because there's gold standards for kids. There's certain age brackets that the optometrist associations are comfortable with, but then you may have an exceptionally responsible child at an earlier age that could do that. So now we'll throw this in because I have to. So cod liver oil is kind of old school, right? Most of the time, if you have slight vision issues, you want to check your omega-3 fatty acid levels. Get those checked, get a blood test done, see what those numbers are, because if the omega-3 levels are low, and if you're dealing potentially with any kind of issue with the omegas and also vitamin A, which is why I like cod liver oil, because it's extremely high in vitamin A, then